играем.
Это не полицейские. Катя, помоги!
Ну, это просто пипец.
Я лизать. Ти що кончений? Я не затриманий. Законом України.
50 to 150 billions, which are here in Europe, frozen Russian assets. No answer.
Ukrainian, I'm gonna explain this whole Zelensky and Trump when he, under his breath, cursed at J.D. Vance. He used the curse word, the equivalent of in America when you hit your thumb and the first four-letter word that comes to your mind. That's kind of what he said, is out of sheer frustration. And my parents escaped Ukrainian because they were persecuted in the 90s, so when we came here. But I went there back and forth for quite a bit throughout the years. And I'm going to tell you something. Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Their sheer amount of volume of money they steal. Like if the government allocated, say, 10 million to build the road, by the time it gets to the road, 99% of the money has been stolen, and that's why the roads almost rarely gets built. It is ridiculous. So when I see all this, disrespect, and they're claiming that Zelensky has an approval rating of like more than Trump, and I'm like, no, he doesn't. I have relatives that live in Ukraine. He is hated, and it's true what J.D. Vance says. They do steal people from the road. They kidnap them, and they send them to the front. It happens. Out of the 52 million that Ukraine had in the 80s and 90s, there's 32 million left. Over 20 million people have already escaped Ukraine. So it's not holier than thou. And so I wish Zelensky came in humbled, and then maybe Trump could have, helped Ukraine to stop the war. But he came boasting, thinking because he's been propped up by everybody. So he's not right. This war should end. And I wish that he would humble him.
My name is Alexander Dubinsky, and I'm a member of the Ukrainian parliament. I have been in prison for 14 months. For one reason only. I told the truth about the Biden's corruption in Ukraine. In 2019, I was the first to expose how Joe Biden was using Ukraine for his personal financial gain. I exposed how his son, Hunter Biden, got millions of dollars through offshore schemes and Burisma. I spoke as a lawmaker, and I spoke as a patriot of Ukraine. But after Biden won in 2020, Zelensky's government, following Washington crazy orders, opened 4 absolutely stupid and fake criminal cases against me. In November 2023, they put me in prison. No evidence, no trial, no investigation. I was never even asked for testimony. They just want to shut me up and silence my public voice, but they failed. They failed because Biden's corruption is a fact. It's a fact. The American Congress and American court have proven that Hunter Biden received money from Ukrainian officials. He confessed to it. But who's in prison? Dubinsky, not Biden. For what? For speaking the truth about Biden's corruption at a press conference. For exposing Soros' network, the same Soros who is together with Yermak and Zelensky helped to steal your election in 2020. For fighting corruption that steals billions and billions from American taxpayers under the cover of aid to Ukraine. And how do they label me? A Russian agent. Why? Just simply because I was near Derkach, someone I have no ties to. Just like I have no ties to Russia or Russian intelligence. Does it seem familiar, Mr. Trump? They did the same to you. They call everyone who speaks about Biden's corruption a Russian agent. They destroy the truth so they can keep stealing billions and billions of dollars under the cover of helping Ukraine. War is a tremendously huge money business for Zelensky. And the Ukrainian people want peace instead. 70% of Ukrainians want the war to stop, but not Zelensky. He doesn't want peace because peace is more dangerous for him than a war. He can sell elections because he knows he will lose. He keeps the country in fear because without fear he will lose the power. He continues the war not for victory, but for money and power. The United States held elections even during the Civil War, but Zelensky canceled the right of Ukrainians to vote. Why? Because if the Ukrainian people vote, they will never elect him again. The Biden corruption machine must be stopped. You made a huge step. You cut funding to the Soros network in Ukraine. You broke their monopoly over the media, over the propaganda pushing the war. But President Trump, the people of Ukraine trust you and have hope for your presidency. We know you are the only one who can stop this mess. Audit Ukraine. Audit every single dollar sent to Ukraine since 2020. Shut down the money flow to Zelensky dictatorship. Let and help Ukraine restore peace, democracy, the rule of law, political stability and justice. Today Soros and Biden are using Ukraine to make money. But this is not a war. This is their huge money business. The Ukrainian people are praying for you, Mr. Trump. Fight, fight, and fight.
The only reason President Trump and J.D. Vance were rude to Zelensky was that Zelensky didn't bring the one fucking thing he was told to bring to this meeting. And that was a plan for peace. No, instead he just talked shit, told us the war was going to be on our doorstep soon, and expected us to cut another fucking check. Let me explain something. I'm going to say it real fucking slow for the liberals in the back. Ukraine's military cannot defeat Russia. It does not matter how much money we or the EU give them. They cannot defeat Russia, which means this only ends one of two fucking ways. Russia conquers Ukraine or Ukraine sues for peace. And I'm sure there's some of you going to be in my comment of Ukraine can defeat them. Okay, good. That if Ukraine can defeat Russia, if you're one of these fucking delusional Americans that thinks Ukraine's military can actually defeat Russia, then stop pretending that Russia's military is a challenge for the United States. If you think Ukraine can defeat them, stop pretending that we need to keep spending trillions of dollars to develop new military to make sure we're safe from the Russians. If Ukraine can defeat them, they are not an enemy of ours. If Ukraine can defeat them just with funding from us, we don't need to worry. Either Russia is one of the biggest, strongest, baddest fucking militaries on the planet, as our intelligence agencies keep telling us, and that's why we need to spend trillions to build new fucking planes, new tanks, new technology, new missiles, or they could be defeated by Ukraine. Like, y'all aren't fucking thinking this through. Like, just sheer fucking numbers. Ukraine cannot defeat Russia. We need to stop pretending like they can. Zelensky needed to show up with a path forward for peace. But he didn't. He showed up just wanting more money because Zelensky doesn't want the war to end. Because if the war ends, he loses all his power. He doesn't have his whole country under martial law anymore. He actually has to have an election. He actually has to have a media that can question his decision. He actually has to allow political opponents to campaign against him. And he doesn't want to go back to dancing on fucking television shows. They were rude to Zelensky because he didn't do his fucking homework. He didn't do the one thing they asked him to do, and that is plan for peace. All he wanted was another check so he could continue the fucking war. A war he cannot win. Get that